On the news tonight, federal government reviews over 730 individuals. Former vice presidential candidate of Labour Party, Baba Ahmed, meets with Julius Abure, factional national chairman of Labour Party. Retired police officers stage protest at entrance gate of National Assembly in Abuja, demanding removal from the contributory pension scheme. Federal government reviews over 730 individuals have been convicted for terrorism-related offenses as part of intensified efforts to combat terrorism financing. On the foreign scene, 19 killed, 164 injured as the Bangladesh jet crashes into college and school campus after a technical problem. Good evening, this is News at 7 on Western Spring Television. My name is Opayamuni. Former vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Yusuf Dati Baba Ahmed, has met with Julius Abure, the factional national chairman of the party. Speaking on Monday at the National Executive Committee meeting of the Abure faction in Abuja, Baba Ahmed also pledged to spearhead reconciliation efforts between the party's 2023 presidential candidate, Peter Obi, and other disgruntled stakeholders in a bid to rebuild unity within Labour Party ahead of the 2027 general elections. Taking a veiled jab at the new coalition effort by the African Democratic Congress, Dati warned party members not to be swayed into political alliances that don't align with LP's values or objectives. Dati expressed strong concern about the quality of governance post-transition, stressing that his priority was not just to unseat the ruling All Progressives Congress, but to help form a credible alternative.
Unprecedented. We presented clear records and evidence of 10 million votes scored in the last election, thereafter reduced to 6.1 million votes. And for that, I still remain, Labour Party is not a party to walk away from. The act of state capture is a more onerous task than causing disunity and disaffection among and within political parties. After the tragedy of 2023, Nigeria was promised governance, yet we continued to experience unrelenting, underhand politics going on within the country, within the regions, between the regions, and within the parties. A lot of water, as they say, has passed under the bridge. I'm here as a loyal party member. I'm here as a peacemaker, and I'm also here to loot. Having said that, I'm here as a son of Labour Party. With a unique intent to bring together all individuals, all persons that might not be on the same page now. I intend to bring all of us together. I intend to reconcile all divergent opinions in Labour Party, and this is what a leader should do.
While in Edo, the state government has dismissed the political influence of Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, describing him as the least of our worries and questioning his preparedness for leadership. Speaking on Monday, the State Commissioner for Information and Communication, Paul Oumbamu, said Obi poses no threat to the All Progressives Congress in the state. The commissioner argued that the former Anambra State governor has no concrete plan for governance, saying that Obi's political agenda remains vague and lacks a clear vision for the country. Oumbamu also downplayed Obi's political dominance in the southeast, pointing out that the Labour Party controls only one state government in the region which is Abia, while the APC holds Imo and Ebonyi. In other news, amid rain, some retired police officers on Monday staged a protest at the entrance gate of the National Assembly in Abuja. The protesters demanded their removal from the contributory pension scheme. The demonstrators, comprising elderly ex-police personnel, held placards and chanted solidarity songs as they stood in the rain, insisting that their welfare and dignity had been neglected for too long. Speaking during the protest, the retired Chief Superintendent of Police, CSP Manuru Lawal, called on the government to exit police retirees from the pension scheme, which he described as exploitative and unjust. As at 5 p.m. on Monday afternoon, the Inspector General of Police, Kaude Egbetokun, met with the protesting retired police officers.
You retire. When you retire, which rank you be for Nigeria Police? ASP. 2-star. Country people na BBC Pidgin. Now BBC they carry this thing live for.
See my pension this thing. Look at it here. That's why they pay me this month.
Pension annuity payment.
Yes. How much?
18,000.
Now lie the top. See.
On judicial matters, the Federal High Court in Abuja on Monday rejected a request by the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, for the release of his international passport to enable him to travel abroad for medical treatment. The court dismissed the application on the grounds that the medical report attached to the request was not signed by its author. Bello, who is facing charges of alleged 80.2 billion naira fraud before Justice Emeka Nwite, brought against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, had applied for the release of his travel document to enable him to seek medical attention in the United Kingdom. Bello is also standing trial on similar charges before Justice Marianne Aneni of the Federal Capital Territory High Court, Maitama, while filing a similar application before Justice Aneni's court, seeking the release of his passport. The case was adjourned to October 7, 10, and November 10 and 11, 2025 for continuation of trial. Still on judicial matters, Justice A.I. Akobi of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory has frozen bank accounts linked to TAC Logistics Limited, TAC Agro PLC, and their director, Thomas Etu, over alleged debts totaling 24.9 billion naira. The court on Monday granted the interim order following an ex parte application filed by Mofeshomo Tayo Oyetibo on behalf of Keystone Bank Limited. The order made by Justice Akobi includes a Mareva injunction restraining the defendants from accessing or dealing with any funds, shares, dividends, or other financial instruments up to the disputed amount. In the ruling, the court also directed all banks and financial institutions holding accounts operated by the defendants to preserve the funds and to file affidavits within 7 days, disclosing the balances and providing relevant bank statements. The interim order will lapse 7 days after it is served, unless extended by the court, while consequently the matter was adjourned till July 22, 2025 for further hearing. And out of security matters, the federal government has revealed that over 730 individuals have been convicted for terrorism-related offenses as part of its intensified efforts to combat terrorism, financing, and dismantle illicit financial networks. The National Coordinator, National Counter-Terrorism Center, Major General Adamu Laka, disclosed these at the on-site meeting of the Financial Action Task Force on Monday in Abuja. He said more than 90 of the convictions were secured with direct support from the Nigeria Financial Intelligence Unit, underscoring the success of interagency collaboration in tracking and disrupting financial networks that support terrorist groups. He praised the collaborative efforts between the Nigeria Financial Intelligence Unit and other relevant agencies, which is said had significantly reduced the inflow of illicit funds into terror operations across the country. The National Counter-Terrorism Center coordinator also commended the Joint Standard Investigation Committee on Terrorism Financing, describing its work as pivotal to enhancing Nigeria's capacity to investigate and prosecute complex financial crimes. Still talking security, the Anambra State Police Command has arrested 2 suspects for their involvement in a self-orchestrated kidnap and a fraud extortion attempt in the state. The 2 suspects, whose names were given as Chinechedem Okonkwo, a 28-year-old female student of Enugu State University of Science and Technology, and 30-year-old Chinechedem Aronu, were said to have masterminded their own kidnapping and used an unknown voice to demand a ransom of 10 million naira from the family. A statement by the spokesman for the Anambra State Police SP Tochukwu Ikenga, said operatives of a Rapid Response Squad, acting on an intelligence-led investigation of a disturbing report of the alleged abduction of a female student, arrested the suspects at a lodge located at Unizik Temp site, Oka. According to Ikenga, upon interrogation, the duo confessed to staging the kidnapping as a plot to extract money from the victim's family. Meanwhile, in Rivers, the State Police Command says it has traced and busted a child trafficking syndicate operating out of Abia State, rescuing a pregnant woman identified as Regina Sunday during the operation. The command said its tactical unit apprehended 2 suspects, including a female linked to the notorious syndicate currently under investigation. According to the police, the operation followed discreet intelligence gathering. The pregnant woman, who was being held captive, was placed under protective custody and later delivered of a baby at a police clinic in Port Harcourt. Spokesperson for the State Police Command, Grace Iringa Koko, disclosed the development in a statement issued in Port Harcourt on Monday, stating the command has intensified efforts to arrest other fleeing members of a syndicate and ensure they are brought to justice. In Oyo State, 2 middle-aged persons were crushed to death by an articulated vehicle in Fiditi town. It was gathered that the victims were returning from their trip to Ibadan when the unfortunate incident happened on Sunday evening. The motorcyclist died on the spot, while the second person, who was rushed to an undisclosed hospital, gave up the ghost a few hours later. The State Deputy Corps Commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Bayode Olugbeso, confirmed the incident in Ibadan, the state capital. Now talking health, malaria in Africa continues to be a significant public health challenge, with the WHO African region bearing the brunt of a global burden. While progress has been made in reducing cases and deaths since 2000, the gains have stalled, and malaria remains a leading cause of morbidity and mortality, particularly among young children. Favor Akiriola has this report on efforts made to eliminate the disease as well as the challenges.
Malaria remains a significant public health concern globally, especially in Africa. Though recent advancements in vaccine development and genotype research are offering new hope in 2025 and beyond. Research have proven that individuals with the sickle cell trait, genotype AS, have a degree of protection against severe malaria compared to those with the normal AA genotype. Individuals with the homozygous sickle cell genotype SS are highly susceptible to malaria. However, Dr. Olufemi Oroge, Program Manager for Osun State Malaria Elimination Program, says young children and pregnant women are at greater risk, noting that citizens must take preventive measures irrespective of their genotype.
Interestingly and historically, it is suggested that the S gene itself is a kind of evolutionary adaptation to malaria. So the S gene evolved over years like a response to malaria endemicity. So where you have malaria prevalent malaria has been with us for thousands of years, you know. So it appears as if the genotype evolved to be able to cope with malaria. So you have people with AS perhaps coping a little better than others. Unfortunately, when you have the two genes being combined, the two S genes, what we can now call homozygous S genes coming together as SS, they don't fare very well with malaria. So they fare worse, because once they come under the pressure from the infection, the cells sickle and then leads to crisis.
A malaria vaccine called R21 Matrix M has also shown 77% efficacy in preventing malaria in children, according to a study published by the University of Oxford. This is potentially a major breakthrough in the fight against the disease, with the World Health Organization providing critical updates on vaccine efficacy, resistance, and innovative technologies. But there are still some challenges in eliminating malaria disease. Dr. Oroge, who stated that one cannot get malaria if not bitten by the female Anopheles mosquitoes, pointed to the issues around climate and environment.
Okay, so elimination is a big deal. Yes, some countries have succeeded in eliminating malaria. There has been process over the years. The global malaria elimination campaign in the early 50s saw several countries eliminating malaria. But it takes a concerted effort. It's a lot of work. Some climates may find it easier because the weather supports the breeding, maturation of the parasite. It's a lot of complex process, but our environmental conditions seem to support that a lot. You have water in abundance. You have the temperature that supports the maturation and transmission of the parasite. You have abundant rainfall. You have vegetation that supports. So everything seems to support the perpetual transmission of malaria in this environment. So you probably need to do a lot more to overcome it. So you have the challenge of that on one side. Then you have the tools that are required to be able to do that. You have the tools that are required. Do we have enough tools? So we are maturing the process of adapting the tools that we have. Theoretically, there are things that we have that can work, like the mosquito net. If 80% of us sleep inside mosquito net regularly, we could probably go a long way to eliminating malaria. But is that feasible?
The medical expert also says malaria affects a country's productivity, adding that children under 5 have low immunity.
In this environment, we feel malaria is ordinary. We feel it's normal. We feel it's not a big deal. But it is, because when you look at those who are affected, it affects productivity, it affects the economy. Then in children under 5, they've not had immunity like we have. So they are more likely to die from malaria, and a lot of them are dying from malaria. So what WHO has done is to provide the guidelines, ensure that the stakeholders, the experts are convened from time to time. They assess the progress of each country. They provide support, a lot of the time what WHO does is to provide advice, guidelines, sensitize various researches that have been done to provide the body of information that informs what can be done at every particular time. So they bring out all the results, the data from different countries, show you where you are, show you where you need to be, and give you advice on how you can get there. So that leadership is what WHO provides.
The fight against malaria requires continued research, innovation, and collaboration. To ensure significant progress in controlling and eliminating the disease, despite challenges being faced, the World Health Organization urges all malaria endemic countries to accelerate progress towards the goal of elimination. Favor Akinriola, Western Spring Television News.
You're watching News at 7 on Western Spring Television. Still to come, a former Kaduna Central Senator, Shehu Sani, has slammed United Kingdom's Conservative Party leader, Kemi Badenoch, over a claim regarding Nigerian citizenship laws. We'll bring you more on this when we return.
Born Jeremiah Oyeni Obafemi on March 6, 1909. Obafemi Awolowo was a prime architect of Nigeria's independence and most consummate advocate of free education and social welfare in Africa's most populous nation. Erudite politician, thinker, and philosopher, Awo was fondly addressed by associates and political colleagues, brought his unique attributes to bear on governance in the defunct Western region. He administered as leader of government business and the premier between 1955 and 1958. Obafemi Awolowo's premiership witnessed pioneering in multi-sectoral policy initiatives and execution